Good evening, boys and girls. Here we are for the second of two reveals for this day, the 19th of October, 2025. First one we did was a 1942D, and this one is a 1946D. So we got two rolls, both in the 40s. I need to count these, make sure we're not going to run short. Oh, we got 50 coins. Just the right number. All right, let's get started on this and see where we end up. Coin number one, Mark Thomas. 1946D here. Quite late die state here. Running a pretty late ship. Since about to sink. I don't really have a good marker except that it is very late die state. Okay, there is a pickle mark between the 4 and the 6 on the die. So we'll be able to see that as we pick more out that are the same. Let's look on the reverse now and see if we've got anything on the reverse of this one. I see nothing. Alrighty then. Richard, good evening. I'll move us on to coin number 2 now for Taco John. See what we get here. It's a different die. And I'm kind of thinking this could be something. Yeah, there it is. Got a nice little split in the upper serif on this one. That is actually a pretty interesting RPM. It's a nice earlier die state coin. You'll be able to see pretty much anything that happens to be on here, like that extra T right there. Let's see what we have around on the other T. Nope, only got the one. It's a little extra bar on the T up there. Makes this a double die obverse and RPM. There you go. Now you can see that extra bar relatively well right here, and it even looks like the upright is right here. I don't see anything doubled on the S, so it was a rather weak doubling. Nor on the rest of the lettering. Let's see what else we have here. We have anything else on this particular die? I don't think we do. But I tell you, it's a nice pairing. A double die obverse with a repunch mint mark. Let's see if we've got anything on the reverse. And we could actually triple this up, right? I have seen one example of a double die obverse and reverse and RPM. I think it's a 1948S. This is a double die reverse as well. You can see it on the outside edge of the wheat lines here. Right there, right there, right there, right there. And then probably if we look down in here, yep, there they are again. I'll get the light back up once I get it focused. When I zoom in on things, it lowers the aperture, and doing that requires more light. But you can see a split right along here. That's part of the doubling. You can also make out, it's not easy on this, but you can make out a line or two here and there in the grains and on the outside edge of the wheat. Let's see if there's anything on the other side. Oh, there's a die crack. Or no, that's not a die crack. That's an odd scratch. Got another one, a couple of them down here. So there's die scratches on this. Let's see what I can do regarding finding anything else way up close. No, this side doesn't really show the doubling at all. I think that is machine doubling that you're looking at on Unum. Why not? Hardly anything shows anywhere except in the top half, roughly, of the left wheat. You can see the doubling pretty well there. All right, well, that's what we've got there. We've got a RPM, a double die obverse, and a double die reverse. Of course, the double dies are kind of minor, and so is the RPM, but it's interesting that you've got a trifecta here. Hubbed-in debris. That's possible. Wire bristles. That's what it looks like. Possibly. Don't know. That one's for Taco John. That's an interesting coin. Like it. Like it very much. I like this one very much. That'll keep Eric busy for a while with a double die obverse, double die reverse, and an RPM. See how many more of these we can find in the roll. This is yet another die pair. It's a different die pair from that first die. It doesn't really have anything remarkable on the date or mint mark. Nothing on the obverse altogether. Let's check the reverse. We do have a couple of different double die reverses to be watching for. I gotta get this lifted up a little bit and turn the light down. Turn the light down low. There we go. Listen to the music on the radio. Hey, Mark. Hope you're feeling better, brother. I've been thinking about you all week long. Haven't bugged you at all, because, well, I don't like being bugged when I'm sick, so. Roy, Mr. Wheeler, let's see what we got here. Yep. Nothing out of the ordinary on this one. On the mint mark and date area, let's check all around the obverse and see what we can catch. Yeah, nothing that I can see. Southern Coin Hunter, good evening to you. We are on our second of two reveals for this evening. This is a 1946D roll. The reveal show will be coming up tomorrow evening. I've got two reveals during the day tomorrow, and Eric has one around 5 o'clock, I think, for tomorrow. And then tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be doing a reveal show. I will have 4 or 5 rolls. Eric will have a few rolls, and we'll have fun. Then after that, on Tuesday, we're going to have an auction. It's not going to be a really big auction, but it's going to be one nonetheless. All right, number 6, Carl. Nothing there spectacular. Nor there. Sounds good, Mark. What do you think you got? Is it maybe COVID or something like that? A flu? There's a nice one. It's got a nice split upper and lower serif. I believe so, Southern Coin Hunter. I'm not sure whether you're in this one or not. Every time I do these, I clip all of the names at one time, and I get them all stuffed. And so I remember your name coming up. I just don't remember exactly where. Negative for COVID. Well, I mean, at least there's that. But I'd rather test positive for something so they know how to treat it. You know, I hope you get better sooner than later. I really hated the feeling of COVID. There's another RPM for us. A little split serif RPM there. Should have both serifs split, one on the top and one on the bottom. There it is. And we've got a nice little dot right in the throat to give us a good marker for this die going forward. Hello, Mr. Ash. Good evening to you. Well, and that is the tiniest of double die reverses. I'm not even going to be able to count that. It barely shows on just a little hint of the outer edge right here, and maybe a little there, maybe a little there, and maybe a little there, but man, that's really minor. It's cutting it very close. Put the holiday rate increase on packages as of October 5th. What is a holiday? I don't understand. I've never heard of a raised rate just for the holidays. Is it so they can pay themselves extra for all the dumb people that come through the post office that don't even know what a post office is? It's like they go to the post office once every 2 months or once every 6 months or year. And we end up having to put up with, well, I don't know what kind of a box to put this in. Oh, that's too much. I'll ship it a different way. Do you have another box? Oh, geez, really? I'm only here to pick up my packages out of my box, and there's nobody else to do it. Hey, Angie. Good evening to you. Let's see. Got nothing. Nothing at all. Eric, I'm just leaving these in order as I go along. Another RPM here. This one's for Dan. This Dan gets a pretty. Let's see if this one has a double die reverse. Nope. That is machine doubling on the back of this coin. All right then. Let's move on to coin number 11. Coin Junkie, good evening. Shinbone. Nothing there. Nothing there. And nothing around here. I'm going to check the reverse on this one just in case. Nope. Nothing there. At least these are nice coins. There's some really decent red, pretty looking coins in here. Farm Dog. Quite a late die state example of a normal coin here. Number 13. Stan? Seen this. I've seen this. It's got a lot of little vertical die scratches running right through the mint mark. This is on one of our nut and dies. Tis a nut and die. Number 14. Back to Mark. Nothing big. Actually, nothing at all. That's number 14. Here's number 15 for Paul. Let's see what we got for Paul. Another one of the late die state coins. This is the one that's got the pickle mark between the 4 and the 6. So we know this die has provided us nothing. How about number 16, Sissy? I do have a couple of different RPMs. This is one of them right here. Nice little RPM. This one also has, I believe this is the one that's also got the double die obverse and the double die reverse. Double die obverse is going to be up here on the T of Trust. It's this last T of Trust here. It's doubled right there and right here. So you can see part of another T. Not big and exciting, but it is a double die. And the double die reverse shows mostly on this left wheat over here. You can see the double separation line there. That is a double die. The 4 on the date very commonly looks pretty thick on the 1946s, and that is just something to kind of get used to. A pickle mark? I'll show you. Well, I can't show you on this coin because this coin doesn't have one. It's a little indentation or injury to the die in a very small area, and it shows on the resulting coins. This one is a nice RPM, no double die. I'm sure we've run into this before. Yeah. That shows ever so slightly, tiny amount of doubling here on the reverse. It's just not enough. You're just not enough. Coin 18. Kurt Pierce. Let's see what we have for Kurt Pierce. We've got another one of these. Nice, very nice RPM. And then a double die obverse right up here. Oh, you can see the T doubling nicely right there. You can see it coming down here, and you can see it over here. You've almost got an entire T next to the T. All right, Mark, I appreciate it. I'll respond after the show. You can get back to me tomorrow or any other time you happen to wake up and feel okay. So that's the double die obverse, and then we come over to the reverse, and the left wheat will have doubling on it. I see that's strong enough to list because you can actually see it. You don't have to guess what you're looking at. These coins like this they're interesting because they are so well defined. Earlier die state. Let's see what Mickey gets. And Mickey's going to come out with a normal coin. Or is it? Yeah. That's going to be a normal coin. A little perchance die scratching inside the eye that makes it look almost kind of like a double die, but it's not. Let's check the reverse real quick on this. Nothing going on there. And so we move on to the next coin, number 20. And I'm not showing anything on the obverse. Let's check the reverse. Nothing. That's for Carl. Now Jim. Jim gets an RPM. A little flattened there for some damage on the mint mark and a little stain, but you can see at least the doubling on the upper serif. And number 22, Mickey. Well, let's see what Mickey gets on this coin. Nope, it's one of the late die state. Late die state, nothing doing coins. Taco John. Taco John got one of the nice little RPMs, I think. Or is it? No? No, I'm not seeing the RPM on this. Is this a different die altogether? This is a different die. Nice early die state with... Do we have any doubling or anything? Nothing on the obverse. We'll have to check the reverse on this one. Decent chance we could have something here. Nope. Not seeing nothing there. Graduated the year before Brad Pitt started. I thought Brad Pitt graduated sometime in the early 80s. 81, 82, 83. Well, so you graduated in 78 and he started in 79? Is that what it was? Nope, nothing on that one. Little tiny amount of doubling on that. Not going to be able to count that one, I don't think. Yeah, you graduated in 78 and he started in 79. So he probably graduated in 83. And that makes sense because my wife graduated in 83. There we go, very nice. Another doubled mint mark there in RPM. I've seen this one a few times. Yeah, we were talking the other night, Angie, about how Mike Ash here graduated high school from Kickapoo in Springfield, Missouri, the year before Brad Pitt started in the same high school. Another one of that die. They say he graduated in 81. Well, if he started in 79... well, you graduated 78, so that would be the 78-79 year. So I'd call that 78, 79, 80, 81. He would have graduated in 82 if he did it the normal way. Then my wife graduated in 83 from Central High. And I didn't graduate in Missouri. I'm from Missouri, but I didn't graduate there. I graduated in Memphis, Tennessee. And another split upper serif RPM. Same die, though, because we've got those die scratches inside the eye. Yes, Brad Pitt was born and raised in Springfield, Missouri. It's one of the claims to fame we have. There's another RPM, lower split serif. That's a nice one. I guess we've got probably, 4 big claims to fame in Springfield. Springfield, Missouri is the home of Bass Pro Shops. Started there, Johnny Morrison back in the 1950s, selling tackle in his father's liquor store. Turned out to be the largest boat and tackle company in the world. Any of you who live in the Midwest or in parts of the Southeast will know the O'Reilly Automotive Group. Maybe have seen their commercials. But O'Reilly Automotive was started by the O'Reilly brothers in Springfield, Missouri. The legendary game show host Bob Barker graduated from Drury College in Springfield, Missouri. And yes, as I forgot, the Howard Johnson is from Springfield, Missouri. The chain of hotels started in Springfield. Also, I guess the other really historic claim to fame for Springfield is when Route 66 was actually named as a U.S. highway, as U.S. Highway 66. That designation started in Springfield, Missouri. The opening ceremony to designating Route 66 from Chicago to San Bernardino, California, started with Springfield, Missouri. That was another RPM, by the way. I'm just kind of, things that we've already seen, I'm just kind of slowly going by, and I keep talking about my hometown and my life and things like that, and kind of past the time of the somewhat monotony of seeing a lot of the same stuff. Stone Kata. All right, nothing on that one. I kind of got an idea the other day. Let me know the viability of this idea, whether or not it'd be something you'd be interested in. I ended up with a baggie, a pretty large baggie actually, of more or less unsorted teens and 20s Lincoln Cents, early stuff. And I was kind of thinking maybe we could do an hour, 2 hour long show at some point where kind of like the pools, you guys can get coins for, let's say, $0.25 a piece or something like that. And I pull those coins and we look at them before I put them in a tube or whatever and send them to you. What do you think about that? I mean, I can tell you, I've dug through a few of these coins just to take a look and see what was there. There was 29S. I found a nice 29D. I found a 15D. I mean, I found some pretty nice coins. $5, $6, $7 coins in there. I mean, there were a bunch of, bust 15-cent coins, 10-cent, 15-cent coins, but there were also a bunch of decent ones in there, and we could very easily find something really nice in these. Oh, these coins are all circulated. They're all average circulated. As you're paying $0.25 a piece to get them, I mean, they're not going to be a wonderful coin. We're talking about a pretty decent chance of getting some good stuff because I've seen a lot of mint marks in this stuff. I just thought maybe it might be an interesting, a fun time, something to do, and you can tell me how many coins you want, and we could load them up on the stick and go through them, look for RPMs, double dies, things like that. I don't know, let me know either here in the comments or you can email me directly, cd@coppercoins.com. Let me know what you think. There's another little RPM, a little split upper serif on that. Just thinking of all the ways that we can do something, have some content, do some learning. And why not get you some coins on the way out of that? Another one of those RPM DDO DDR combination coins. There's the DDO. You got an extra T up there. And then the DDR is on the left wheat. Right over here, got double separation line on the outside edge of everything. Very nice. Stan gets this one. We've run into 4 or 5 of these in the roll. I'm kind of excited about the listing on that because that's basically 3 different die listings for 1 coin. There's one for Doug. And Doug gets one of them right there. There's the RPM, and I'll show you the double die obverse. Hello. Couldn't spit that one out. Man, that one's nice and sharp. Look at that. Yeah, how sharp that is. That is sweet. I'm going to zoom in on this one so you guys can get a good screenshot of it. I think it's pretty. This is the kind of stuff we look for, people. Beautiful. Look at that extra T. Mr. T, Mr. T. There we go. How pretty is that? That's the DDO on these. The DDR is on the left edge of the left wheat. The RPM is a little confusing. There's a split upper serif. It looks like there's a horizontal through the middle, so there could be 3 or 4 Ds there. I'll leave it brighter for just a second to see if I have anything else I could be missing on these. Don't think so. I don't think so. That extra T is just cool. I like that. That's cool. That one's for Doug. Coin number 41 for DC. Number 41 for DC, what do we get here? It's one of the later die state coins. Unfortunately, this one is not going to have anything on it. Not gonna do it. I guess with every roll you have to run into the not so good coins too. Number 42, Dan McCumber. And Dan, what did Dan get? Dan gets one of the lower split serif RPMs. Pretty nice one. Oh, massive double die lid. From what it looks like, that is a nice double die lid right there. That's definitely going to be listed. So we've got a RPM DDO combo here. I wonder, wonder. No. Nothing on the reverse. Dan the man got himself a nice coin there. I like that. Coin 43. Let's see about Sissy. What does she get? That's got damage running between the 1 and the 9 and the 4 of the date. That's what that is. Okay, somebody had asked me earlier about what's a pickle mark. This is a pickle mark right here. It's a place where a little tiny chunk of the die didn't agree, and it's kind of like a lump in your pancake batter, and it kind of chips out, and then you get a weird little dot looking thing, and that's on the die, so it's going to repeat to all the coins. And you can see it's just a little tiny crevasse with a dot in it, and it's just where the surface didn't degree very well, and you get these. That's what I call a pickle mark. It's a little sour spot. I made that up. It's my own word. It's not scientific. It's not numismatically correct, but I call them pickle marks. Oh, that's the I call this the tree die scratches, because it looks like a dead tree going sideways. So I've run into that quite a few times in this particular roll. Student to coin number 44 now. Coin number 44 goes to Paul Hampton. Wow, 1916 DDO nickel. Wow. Oh, and a dateless roll. Okay. Well, they're still very identifiable by that feather in the headdress. The second feather has strong doubling on it. Another one of our RPM coins. Lots of RPMs in this roll. Most of them are kind of minor. Here's one for Kurt Pierce. And it's not an RPM there. That's just our late die state step cousin. Unfortunately. Coin number 46, Dirty Water. Let's see what Dirty Water gets. Last coin around. And it's just going to be a normal 1940-60. Nothing special going on there. You can't find the eyelid on copper coins? It's probably new, because it would be a combination RPM double eyelid. You gotta remember you had an RPM going on there. Here's another one of those pretties. You've got the RPM and you hear double T. Oh man, that's just beautiful. That is so plain as day. I wonder if this is listed anywhere. 1946D obverse with just doubling on the T of trust. I love that. It's just once in a while something like that shows up and it just tickles my tummy. I really like it. I like smiling. Smiling's my favorite, right? I got a couple of little rub marks on this one, but still, man, it's a nice coin. You recognize that, you think? Okay. Well, perhaps we've seen it before. I know of a 1942 plane like that, I believe it was, that we sort of discovered as a crew. Little RPM lower split serif there. Nothing else. And that's number 48, now number 49. Before I close up here, I want to let you guys know that I appreciate you being here once and forever. Every time you're here, it helps my channel, it helps me, and it helps you know more about the coins you love to collect. I am going to be back tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow during the day at some point, with two more reveals. We have a 1950 plain and a 1952D. And then tomorrow evening we will have a new reveal show where Eric and I will be selling, I think, up to about 8 or 9 rolls. So you could be there and get your spots in those rolls. Here's the last coin in this roll, Trip Wit number 50. I'll have a list up of the short auction that we're going to run on Tuesday. I'm going to have that list up tomorrow. Nice little RPM here to close things out. Little split upper and lower serifs. Nice. Nice, nice. And that is it. That's what we've got. I don't think it was a 46D that we had that was like that, Mark. It was the first T, and I believe it was a 42 plain. I don't know. Now I need to check. I need to check myself. All right. 43,599 photos. There we go. Go copper coins, right? I think it's a 42. This isn't it. It's a different one. Let's see. Maybe not. Could be a 42 with a mint mark or a 44 plain. I don't remember. It's a plain or a, anymore. I don't really profess to know much. I get more mixed up than I get right. Let's try 44 and see. A bunch of RPMs. I'm a bunch of double dies for 44 plain. It's going to be one of the latest ones listed. I know that. No, it's not a 44 plain, I don't think. I don't remember now. I do not remember. It was one that we got a number of them, and I think half of them or more that we got out of the roll belonged to Deanne. And they were nice enough to let me take one of those. I have it here. I just don't remember the date and mint mark right now. Anyhow, I appreciate you guys being here. I'll see you guys during the day tomorrow for our reveals, and then the reveal show tomorrow evening. Auction on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Have a great evening. Talk to you later.